bring the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll do the roll call.
Trustee Morgan is excused. Trustee Rush.
Here.
Trustee Oddy.
Here.
Trustee Laporte.
Here.
Treasurer Patterson.
Here.
Clerk Hurst here. Supervisor Bowman.
Here. Okay, approve agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with removing items A and B and adding item J, which would read, consider approval to accept the sole bid by Diversified Excavating for Benody and Graham Park interior roadways and parking lots for $39,800, which includes a $10,000 savings using the campus parking lot millings. Also, item K would be added as adopting the resolution drafted by our township attorney regarding toxic waste in the state.
Yeah, that would be consider approval of Township Resolution 2024-08.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Public comment. John Chapman.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing today?
We'll see.
Don't know me, I'm John Chapman, been around here for goddamn long time. I think,
Please refrain from swearing.
got a bad penny, I just won't go away. Got a few things I'd like to talk to y'all about tonight. Number one is this stupid license thing that you guys keep trying to screw with me on. Wait a minute, the first one I'd like to get into is the cloud on the title of my fucking building.
Hey,
Point of order.
Point of order.
Point of
I'm sorry
order.
you got fucking, oh, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to do it. But I'm not gonna, you wanna get me to leave, you better goddamn play my game.
Again, point
Get
of
it.
order.
I did not say anything bad. Go piss off.
Let's see. Trustee Rush.
Anyway.
Trustee, your point of order.
You have a title, I have a title, and it's got a cloud on it. Why hasn't the cloud been lifted? Supervisor's office. You anything about it?
a cloud.
What?
You have a cloud?
Yes, on my title.
I know nothing about your cloud
Really?
in your title.
Well, there's a cloud on my title, and only Sumpter Township put it on there. 2002, Sumpter Township put on my title, what they call it, notice of condemnation. Now it's on my title, and I'm getting a kickback because Sumpter Township has done nothing. They've been notified duly. Okay? And it's taken a while.
Pardon me.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When's it going to happen? Is my building condemned? Get with my real estate guy. All right? Timmy, personally, can you do that? Or do you got any office hours that you are aware of?
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Please do.
John, I hate to get into these things during public comment. In fact, I've taken the position that we shouldn't answer or respond to anything.
Okay.
Because this is your 3 minutes to tell the
Okay.
township board.
Well, I'm
Hold
inquiring.
on a second.
Yes, sir.
He
Yes,
has
sir.
the floor.
This is your 3 minutes to tell the township board what you want us to know. So this give and take and play
All right.
stump, hold on, and playing stump the band when we don't know what you're talking about is a little difficult to respond to. But with that being said, let me say this. If there was a notice of condemnation or whatever it was that was filed in 2002, obviously that is not applicable today. I haven't looked at it. I don't know. I'm taking your word for it. And that's easily fixable by doing a termination. So if this somehow is standing between you and a relationship you have with your real estate agent or a prospective buyer, we correct those all the time. So if you would kindly submit that to the clerk's office, I'd be more than happy to take a look at it. And you're right, we will take care of that issue for you.
Thank you, Rob. And I believe you. Okay.
Well, you should believe everybody.
I can't help with that. I would like to ask you people a question, but I can't get it answered because this is only my speaking. So what I'm gonna say is, why the hell do you wanna screw with me? The state has been trying to get me to get a license since 1993. They have not prosecuted me. Now, the issue that I have with the state has been alleviated. Once you got these people that just stopped coming in telling me they're gonna take my rights away, or I had to do this, or I had to do that. Finally had a met with a senior agent, and we discussed the complaint. We discussed the complaint, and I looked at him, I will discuss the complaint, because you're not to be judge, jury, and executioner. That's the only reason I'm gonna judge you the state, because I'm retaining all of my rights. I don't have to give away my rights to, lots of things. And this is what I have as a gift for each and every one of you. What would you give up in order to make a living? Now, I've been in this community for over 35 years. I'm a double master. That means I'm master in automotive and heavy-duty truck. How many complaints has some township ever gotten from me?
Keep your mouth down, okay? This is a business meeting. You don't have to
It is a
raise your
business
voice
meeting.
like that.
You've been fucking with my business.
Pardon me?
You've been messing with my business. You've been messing with my business because I had the inspection done that the township owed me. Now, when am I going to get my business license? Because they cannot do a new inspection on a business or anything unless it's more than 6 months old. So when they came and did my inspection, they finished the inspection that they had did for my business license. Now, once it was satisfied, it says on our ordinances, shall issue a business license. Now that I'm not in contest with the state, are you going to give me a business license? Are you going to tell me I'm good enough to work in some township for people that I love and care about? I'm a neighborhood mechanic. I don't lie to these people. I don't charge them excess. I don't misdiagnose. If you want that, you better go get a mobile mechanic because the state won't prosecute them. It only prosecutes people with brick and mortar. Or are you people that smart to figure that out? You've done ran out the last guy between Milan, excuse me too loud, Milan, and 5 Points in Belleville. I'm the last one. 10 years ago, there was at least half a dozen people between here and there. Now they're all gone. I was a essential service. Unless that's what Twitmer said. Your buddy Twitmer. And that's about all I got to say. You guys talk it over. If you want to get a hold of me, figure things out, you know where I'm at. I don't hide from nobody. I don't run away. I ain't got the legs for it.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman.
Thank you very much. I'm letting Sugar Bridges have her chair back. How's that? And I'm going to leave these for you guys. Pass them out. Read them. Figure out what you're going to give up to make a living. Because I ain't giving up diddly squat. You understand?
Can somebody check that bag and remove it, please? Can somebody check that bag
Check
and
that bag and remove it.
Tony, sorry. This is the duties of the township manager. You have to. Let's all get down.
Thanks.
Duty might be the key word.
It hasn't got a fuse in it.
Okay, good.
That's-
Thank you.
Wow.
Ay, ay, ay.
Next public comment. Public comment next
I
one.
already did that.
I was about to say that. Okay. Mary Dan.
Welcome back, Mary.
Yep, glad you're feeling better.
Yep, definitely. Definitely there, but, number one, I know Karen, I asked her last time when I couldn't come to the meeting because I was wiped out. I wanted to thank in person, Chief Brown and Mr. Sliwa, who came that day when Mary Ann called him, because I never had anything like that in my life. I could not stand, I could not sit, and I was just in excruciating pain. And they find out they thought maybe it was a hip, but it's not. The hip was fine. No break in it, but some spine problems. But I'm halfway there to starting doing physical therapy. but a tentativeness of Mary Ann. I already thanked her, but I can't praise her enough because of her concern. She says, Mary, you can't drive like that. You don't even get in that car with your friend because I was in so much pain. And, she says, I'm calling them right now. And she called 911 and they were right there. And then the ambulance came and got the proper care I needed, an MRI and everything else. But I want to compliment Sumpter's emergency squads because people don't realize until you need them, which we've had them in the past, needed them. Thank God, that's all I can tell you. And other communities that they have to wait a long time, or bigger communities that don't have that same care, until you need it, you really don't appreciate it enough. And I just want to let you know I appreciate it, and I thank everybody who was involved, from Mary Ann and my friends who drove Mary Ann drove my car home, and we had supposed to have an appointment that afternoon, Barney and I, out at the sleep apnea clinic, and so he was, he didn't hear my messages. I got to tell you this; it's kind of funny, and he didn't hear my messages on the recorder. Doesn't really pay attention too much to him anyway, because he doesn't hear them. So anyway, he figured, well, she's late. I don't know what's going on, so he starts driving out of the driveway, and here comes Mary Ann with my vehicle into the driveway, and my friend Roz is driving after her so she can take her back to the community center. And Barney says, Mary Ann gets out of the car, and he says, you got a vehicle just like my wife. and she says to him, Barney, this is your wife's car. So she had to explain to him what had happened in that half hour, 15 minutes, whatever it was. And he got the biggest shock of his life. So I've told that story to quite a few people. But anyway, she drove it, put it there in the driveway, and of course then he went on for his appointment. And our friend Roz from Bible study, she picked up Mary Ann. But it was, when they told me this, I was really shocked. So I want to thank everybody. And the other problem we have is so much brush everywhere. And the county just seems to not recognize that we've got problems along all the roads. I know some are getting some care, but people are really appalled that we are just inundated. The rain we had this summer made all the nice weeds grow high and on Bemis Road especially, there and on different aspects of Willis Road. And I don't get around to every part of the township, but the people are just having, they just can't believe it. Of course, we have to realize we have country living at the best. And I want to thank Mr. Bowman for the people who are grading the road a little more frequently. Of course, they went and put the chloride on, and now we have pea soup because it's such a muddy mess. But I thank that. I just need the county to pay attention to the end of the trees. There's so many dead trees, and they're not being taken care of. I mean, they're in the right-of-way, too, and just kind of ignore us out here in Sumpter.
Very dangerous trees.
Yes, they're dangerous. I don't know if when you're coming from a town, getting toward Bemis Road, on the left-hand side, it's on Van Buren side, but there are two very, very dangerous trees there, completely dead, and nobody has addressed that issue. And I haven't gone to Van Buren. I wasn't up to it for a while, but they just need to know those trees are and they're hanging over the road, and they're right in the right-of-way. They're not in people's yards. They think they're in the yards, but I believe the right-of-way, am I correct, is 33 feet? Yeah,
Typically,
well, yeah. Yeah, typically, and believe me, it's in the right-of-way, so it's dangerous, but thanks to everyone. It's good to be able to get back here to the meeting. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Mary.
Happy belated birthday to you too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the minutes. A, approve the regular board meeting minutes of September 10th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve both minutes for items A and B.
Support.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Approve warrants of $161,874.99.
So move the roll call vote.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Roll call vote. Trustee Laporte.
Yes.
Trustee Addie.
Yes.
Trustee Rush.
Yes.
Treasurer Patterson.
Yes.
Clerk Hurst, yes. Supervisor Bowman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Finance report, Holtz.
Good evening. Excuse me. On September 18th, the Fed bank cut interest rates by 50 basis points, so our earnings are going to be sliding downward. Both myself and Deputy Erica Campbell will be going to MGFOA next week. Many of their classes are based on investments, interest rates, and kind of where we should be going in this new climate. 1 week from today is the halfway point to our fiscal year, October 1st. It's our summer solstice, as I always like to say. This is the time that we reflect what our last 6 months have been like and what we're going to do for our next 6 months. But I want to challenge the board on what we're going to be doing for the next 3 years. Tell me projects that you want to start working in the process, plans, things like that. Give us some ideas so when we come to January and February and have our budget meetings, we can have a good, strong budget and know where we're going to go. And with that, the 25-26 fiscal year budget will be starting in about 3 months. Usually we start that in January. The last thing is the royalty check came in, I believe it was yesterday, and it was $196,000, so that puts us at about 5% down for the year. Are there any questions on the reports that I gave?
Thank you, Scott.
All right,
Make
thank
a
you.
motion to approve the finance report.
Support.
Been motion and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Township manager.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, attendees. Nice seeing everyone. First and foremost, thank you, Treasurer Patterson and your good deputy for helping to pick up slack on the info with our parking lots and the activities going on. You appreciate that. Second, of course, with them being in process, we start swinging to parks, and we're looking at starting mowing over the next 2 to 3 weeks on the Sherwood Pond Trail and start getting that set up. That's one of the reasons why we had all the chippings piled out at Benoti from those trees, so we could utilize those as well. Grand Park Forestry in review. It was closed on September 18th, and myself and Treasurer Patterson are looking at results that came in on that, and we'll keep everyone apprised as we walk through it. On our DPW director piece, we did have a second interview with a highly favored candidate. We are doing some additional background on the candidate, as well as working on putting together a package that will be shared with the committee and then put in front of the board for consideration. Handout on the table in front of you. Spicer Group responded to the email I sent out to them. If you may recall, they're working with inter-county drains on the north branch of the Big Swan Creek. And their proposal is talking with local owners about voluntarily setting up either a wetlands or a storm basin or something to help handle that episodic water that comes into this area. I'm still waiting for an answer on that. Still waiting for a copy of any correspondence or letter that they will send out to our residents explaining the project, and still waiting on a copy of the petition. Air Ductor, HVAC. We have tried to work with them. The end of the month is kind of their deadline if they cannot produce and begin installation on the approved HVAC unit for the community center. They have committed they will begin refund of the deposit that the township gave them. I already have in place a couple of other vendors, contractors who I submitted some specifications to be able to provide an additional couple of quotes for consideration. Sewer lining, Willis, Rawsonville, Holiday West, Hennessy, and Ahmad Dill are in review of that. As you may recall, Mancheloff was the chosen contractor, and there were some issues with water intrusion into a line. We chatted with the board about that at the last meeting. Ahmad has some information that he'll be sharing with me, so I'll get it to the board as soon as I receive it. Willow Road Water Main, Hennessy is also and has also put together a draft engineering review of that project for future considerations. To Mr. Holtz's inquiry about projects that might walk in the future over this next 3 years, I'll provide that information. We can all take a look at it and possibly consider taking care of the Willow water main issues. And the CMG DNR grant for $25,000. Thank you, Mr. Bowman. That paperwork was signed off and submitted, and that is in process. Once signed on the governor's desk in October, sometime in early 2025, we'll receive the $25,000 grant. And unless there aren't any questions, yes, sir.
I have one question too. On
Please.
the area doctor quote, I've heard this come up of recent over the last couple of weeks or so. When was that project even started when they were quoted?
That we started that
That was
project.
last year, wasn't it?
It was a year ago.
Yeah.
It was August of last year. We knew at the beginning of that they were not going to be able to get the product until 24 to 25 weeks later. And that would have put that into that
Spring.
end of April, early May
Right.
time period. And they just kept walking along. They say they had been in close contact. Okay. They kept being told by the supplier that they were still having issues in the supply chain.
So
And
I guess my question is it not been received? Are they still having
no,
a hard time
it has
getting?
not been received.
Okay, so
No.
that we're looking at that maybe getting another quote for another
Already
piece of
have,
equipment?
already have two other,
Okay.
already have two other vendors
Yeah.
who were looking at providing that. One of those we already work with on a number of HVAC issues. So I am looking forward to seeing that information, and I'll share that with the board when I get it.
Yeah, I just feel like we should have been moving sooner than later on this,
Well-
maybe even in June, July or something at the latest, but.
Sure.
Sure. Did they supply a letter from the supplier stating that it was on
I
back order?
asked for that, the commitment, and what he sent me was the invoice and the follow-up data that indicated those same things I just shared with you. Other than that, he's not giving me anything else to
I'm
confirm.
just wondering if we should be running that to contacting the vendor that he's supposedly buying it from to see if
If
we're
that's
just
even the
getting
case.
smoke or is this real?
Yeah,
Because it seems to me you would be able to source that in multiple places. It's not a single unit.
I would also have that same feeling.
It isn't a one-off type of unit.
Well, it is why I got to the point with this gentleman about 3 weeks ago, Rob. I had sent an email to Rob and started including him in these conversations once I took over for DPW to help fill in a little. And I kept Rob tied in it because I want to ensure first and foremost we get our $20,000 back, and second, be able to secure another vendor. But I believe we can check on the supplier aspect he was utilizing or attempting to use.
I think that would be something we should do, and if it is an issue there, we should be getting the 20,000 plus interest. If there is an
I
issue
think you
that,
got a European, I think you got an out of the country provider, so I'm not sure, I don't wanna spend a ton of time on that.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it to the extent it makes some, common sense to it, but
Well,
sometimes they don't work out, we get our money back, we move on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
I think the contractor is local, where he's, or may have ordered it from
right, our
us.
contractor's local,
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that they've actually it's been ordered through them and it is on back order.
Well, he made the representation, I think, somewhere along the line that it was en route from wherever to here, but,
Yeah.
I mean, we have been able to verify that.
Yeah.
I mean, we get our money back, it's sort of like cutting our losses and moving forward,
Yep. Agree. Any other questions, please? Very good. Thank
Motion
you
to
both.
accept the TM's report.
Support.
Been motioned and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Water and sewer report, Patterson.
I would just ask the board to receive and file the water sewer report. I have nothing to add from last time, what I brought up with the differences and changes and stuff, so.
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Support.
Been motioned and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Treasurer's report, Patterson.
So nothing really to add here to, as far as interest rates changing and stuff like that. That's our investment committee meeting. We had, I think it was like last week, if I'm not mistaken, we had canceled that. There was only one issue, one topic coming up for maturity here in the next month or two with a Flagstar CD coming to maturity in October 1st. We already have plans to reinvest that, but everything else as far as our Comerica Banking, Michigan class, everything is that for the board to review in the treasurer's report. So just ask to receive and file the treasurer's report that has been provided.
Motion to receive and file the treasurer's report.
Support. Been motioned and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Planning and zoning report, Audie.
Thank you, Chair. The planning and zoning has not met since our last meeting, but we do have some items that we'll be undertaking. We're gonna be looking at, reviewing the animal ordinances and how many animals you can have on a property, along with, some special land use zoning and different appropriate zoning, areas that those might be appropriate, which was directed by the board. So that'll be coming up in our planning commission, so stay tuned and come on out and join us for some very interesting conversations.
Motion to receive the planning and zoning report.
Support.
Been motioned and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on, board response.
Chair?
Go ahead,
Let me.
Tim.
What we experienced during the open floor tonight, we put out a good product. And I've been on the board for over 7 years, approaching 8 years, and I've never heard such foul language in my life as what we experienced tonight. I think the board would agree with me. Tony, if you could, when we edit the tape, there's gotta be a way we can mute that foul language that we were all exposed to clean our product up that we present to the public. I think we really need to do that and look into that.
I think there needs to be zero tolerance for stuff like that.
It's freedom of speech.
Not,
It's gotta be
excuse me.
cautious.
I've never heard anything like that, ever. It was outrageous.
Okay.
Chair, if I could also add to the board response, I'd like to see if we can get, some type of information to the board on what exactly he's talking about. I mean, we're getting
Yeah,
berated
that was-
for
I have
items
no
and things that we're not up to speed on, so, it'd be nice to know at least what he may be talking about or what he's mistakenly talking about, but, to get berated at a meeting and not understand exactly the details, of what he's talking about, is concerning, so.
Agreed.
Very concerned.
Chair?
like it happened 22 years ago.
Yep. Chair, something like that, I mean, a board meeting is not the proper venue to even discuss something like that. Come to the supervisor's office, get an appointment, we'll dig into it, get our attorney involved and take care of it.
It's usually pretty simple to deal with
Yeah.
those situations. If you have something that, is not correct on a deed or something, you bring it in, it's presented. and
Exactly.
It's taken care of.
So this is why I don't like being at these 3-minute meetings or 3-minute conversations and everybody throws stuff and they throw all kinds of allegations and ordinances and all this other stuff, and you're supposed to somehow be some miraculous human being that can recall everything there is to know about the township, and if you can't, somehow you're inept. We've dealt with that for decades. It drives me absolutely loony. That's why many times I've said to the board, you guys want to accept questions. I know that there's a lot of legitimate questions that are presented, but then there's a lot that are illegitimate. This is a long introduction to what I'm about to say, and that is sitting here at the moment that was happening, I didn't recall an incident that occurred probably within the last week. And I was requested to draft, if I'm not mistaken. And Karen, was that when Mr. Sylvanus, when you and him were talking in the parking lot when I pulled up? All right, so I had drafted that termination of whatever that lien was from 2002, and I was coming out to the township for other reasons, and Mr. Sylvanus was, you and he were talking, and you said, well, there's the attorney now, he's got the document, and apparently there was some closing or something that was supposed to take place. So, in essence, the thing that he was complaining about had been solved some 7, 8, 9, 10 days ago. But being able to recall that at any given moment is something that might at times appear to be superhuman, and I'm not superhuman, and sometimes I don't even think I'm normally human. But this is why it is so ridiculous to throw this stuff at the township board and be required, or you guys feel compelled to somehow respond like you're supposed to be able to recall everything. Because I did what, I addressed his decision in sitting here. It took me 15 minutes to think about it. And it had been addressed. So what's important, I think, is that if there's concerns, like Tim says, check with the offices, let us look into it. If you really want an answer, if you truly want the truth, and you don't want to show off, then why don't you give us a chance to find the information? Now, if you want to stand here and show off, tell off the board, it's still America. This is the last bastion of pure democracy in its township board meetings. Because you can stand up there and you can tell us just about anything you want to tell us, including swearing at us, and you can hold him to be out of order, and you can warn him, and if he does it again, you can have him removed by the police chief. But nevertheless, this is an opportunity to tell the board off in any way that you want normally. But give us a chance to get the right information so that when you all walk out the door, you have truth as opposed to lies. So if you want lies, then try to trick us. If you want the truth, then give us the opportunity to respond. So that's why I'm frustrated right now, because I wish I would have recalled that and I could have clarified all of this and it wouldn't have been an issue, and I've gone on too long now by even giving him credibility for those comments that he made. But I just wanted to get that out. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If I may, on a more lighter note, the last meeting we had here, the good Captain Jamie Good spoke during the fire report about the risk reduction program that he was proposing to start for the seniors. Jamie, would you like to give a brief description of where you're at with that and what you've accomplished in this last 2 weeks? I know I'm putting you on the spot, bud, but.
Sure. So in the last 2 weeks, when I did the initial report over here, I said I was working with MI prevention.
They gotta be able to hear you at home.
Gotcha. When I was up here at the last board meeting, I had said I was working with MI Prevention, who has a good community risk reduction program to the state on getting smoke detectors. Since then, we've been approved to be in the program. I went to Lansing, I got 76 smoke detectors, 25 CO detectors that we are able to go out and install in the township residents with an unlimited supply after that. So whoever needs smoke detectors, we'll be putting something out in social media of how to set up an appointment time, and we'll come out and install them in your house for you. I presented the board with the numbers over there for the lock boxes for the seniors. Working on getting that set up through ACE and the board and the township. Had so far 4 of the seniors in the township reached out to do the presentation, to come over there, do the assessment with them, get everything set up and move through that way. So even without a lot of say advertisement on social media, it's moving along pretty quickly.
So I just wanted to take an opportunity to let him explain how fast this moved and how quick he's getting things done. And I think it's a very good program, not for just children it needs, right? Because that's where this all started. But now it's expanded into the seniors. So I would encourage all the seniors to take advantage of this program, because smoke detectors don't last forever. CO detectors don't last forever. I mean, my wife has a child care. The state comes out and inspects hers every single year. And they do that for a reason, because they go bad. And we obviously stay on top of them, but I think it's important. It's a good program. The board, I'm sure, when it comes time to purchase lock boxes, will get behind it. And I think the whole community is going to benefit from it. And I thank Jamie for getting us going and following through with it.
Thank you, Don.
Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Don. Okay. So we'll go to new business, beginning with item C. Consider approval to accept the fuel tank refresh quote from Chaffin Bushy Oil Company at a total cost of $3,915.65.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on, D, consider approval for Rachel Scott, DPW, to attend the MRWA S3 and S4 training at a cost not to exceed $650.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on, E, consider approval of the attached proposed ARPA reobligation of funds and targeted projects.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
F, consider approval to accept the bid by EMU Global Services to replace the police department's south side windows at a cost of $18,350, paid with ARPA funds or other available funds if required.
Support.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Want to get to the end of that. I'm waiting on this one.
Right.
G, consider approval to accept the sole bid by Concrete Floor Treatment to replace the police department restroom floors at a cost of $13,952, paid with ARPA funds or other available funds if required.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
H, consider approval to post and publish an invitation to bid for township building fire and security alarm insulation and monitoring services.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on, I, consider approval to post and publish an invitation to bid for the Township Hall roof replacement, which will be paid for with ARPA and other additional funds if required.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
J, Mr. Patterson.
J would be consider approval to accept the sole bid by Diversified Excavating for Benodi and Grand Park interior roadways and parking lots for $39,800, which includes a savings of $10,000 using the campus parking lots millings.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
K, who has the verb?
I got K.
You got K?
Consider approval of Township Resolution 2024-08 to be distributed to the proper people and authorities.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported,
May I add one thing, Mr. Chairman? I apologize because I noticed when I looked at this resolution, then I had added one line in here since this was printed, and I thought I sent it to the clerk's office, but I realized I didn't. So with this, if we could approve the amended resolution, and what it is to take into account a request by trustee Matt Adi, it was a good suggestion at the end of the, second from the bottom of the resolution says, be it further resolved that the Township Board of Trustees strongly disapproves with the import and disposal of out-of-state toxic waste in Wayne County. So my resolution dealt a lot with the state and the Army Corps of Engineers and his narrowed writing on Wayne County. So what you've all read with that, if you can approve the amended one, then the clerk's office can print that, and that would be the resolution that's sent.
I'll approve the amended version of the yes, with the addition.
Support.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, announcements? No announcements? B, closed session under OMA Act 267 of 1976, 15.268I, attorney's opinion pertaining to Republic landfill and attorney's opinion pertaining to the pending audit.
I'll make that motion that we go into closed session.
Support.
Been motion and supported that we go into closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call vote on that?
Roll call vote? Okay. Trustee Addie.
Yes.
Trustee Rush.
Yes.
Trustee Laporte.
Yes.
Supervisor Bowman.
Yes.
Treasurer Patterson.
Yes.
Clerk Hurst, yes. Motion carried.
Support?
Been motioned and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Nope,
Support.
here, I'll make a motion to direct the attorney, to move as directed in the closed session.
Support?
Support.
Motion and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Ms. Esther.
Tim just wanna get up. Now I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Motion and support to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.